All right. Hello, I'm Val Smith, and I really hope I don't shoot myself in the foot in this one. As you know, we have 13th Doctor, who's Jodie Whittaker, and there's been a shitstorm of that, her being a doctor, still kind of going on now. And I've stayed quiet about the whole situation, and I still am. But there's something I wanted to talk about, something I've been thinking over for a long time, but I've been I have been concerned about how I'm going to say it. But now I think I've come to come to a way to talk about it. Um, First off, I want to say one thing very clearly. I do not like Missy as the Master, and no, it's not because she's a woman or because she's Selena Gomez. No, the Master, if you can call her that, is completely out of character. To put it in to those that don't understand Doctor Who context, it would be like if they made a whole series where Lex Luthor was a sexy woman and had a quasi Catwoman semi-romance relationship with Batman, or not Batman, Superman. I mean, if you're going, anyway, that's what Missy was, and I think the only reason people accepted the whole Missy thing was because Selena Gomez is a good actress, and she is, and kudos to that. And she managed to make that shitty role work somehow. I don't know how. And I'm not saying you can't have the Master be a woman, but I think the problem is the way they handled it. And I'm going to talk about that through a simple manner of way, through both Missy's costume and then the Doctor's costume, our most recent Doctor's costume, and how that could work to, make things better story and character-wise. And like I said, I really have all the hope that Jodie Whittaker's air of the show is good. I really hope so. But if we're really going to use Missy's stepping stones as a good thing, then I am a bit concerned. And let me explain. Let's just get to the costume thing, and I'll explain everything. Okay, here we go. I hope you can see this. Let me see here. Okay, good. Okay, let me get this right. Sorry about the weird way I'm doing this, but okay. As you can see, this is Missy's costume right here. This is Missy's costume, and right away, there's quite a few problems with the Missy costume. For one thing, the Master would never undermine herself, by such a silly name as Sissy or Missy. Straight up. And I'm not saying this because those names are bad or there's anything wrong with using those words. I'm saying this in terms of the character of the Master, because the Master is a villain, okay? He is a brilliant mastermind, cold, methodical, willing to do anything and everything to get what he wants. And what he always wants is power. And he does anything to get it. Any way to do it. And that's the thing. Missy wasn't that. As I already described what her relationship, if you can call it that, was. Now, the first thing is if Missy had... If the Master was a woman, she would still be called the Master, period. All right? She may use a synonym to disguise herself as the Master, but it wouldn't be anything sissy or silly sounding like Missy. And if she was a woman, she would not wear feminine clothing. She would hide that. She would wear something more like this. She would wear something... Okay, good. She wears something formal like this suit here with, let's see if I can make this a little better. I hope you can see this right. Let me see here. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. She would wear something like this. Okay, you see that? Very formal, very disguising of gender, and most importantly, very threatening looking. The only difference really in this costume to what the Master would probably wear is she wouldn't have that hat, and there wouldn't be those little symbols on the side. But outside of that, she would have a costume like that. And most importantly, she wouldn't care for being a woman. In fact, I think it would have been great if the Master was a woman. I would think it would be great if the Master was actually sexist. As a woman, sexist to the body she has, and you know, wanting to try to find another body, but not ever being able to. And you may say, but that's cold. The Master's a villain through and through. I just said that. If you don't want the Master to be a villain, it just doesn't make sense to do that. I'm not saying this to be me. I'm saying that's what the Master's character should be. The Master is a villain. The Master does anything to get power and total control. And if the Master was stuck in a woman's body, fine. But he would load that body and do anything he could to you know, do that. You know, put it this way. The Master would never wear anything feminine or sexual, seductive, put it that way, unless he needed to get higher up in power and he needed to use someone to get there. That would be the only time he would do that. But even when he does that, it's very rare. And like I said, the Master, if she's a woman, would still be a villain through and through, would still do nasty, wasty things. And that's why the character thing is so problematic. Now, on to the 13th Doctor's costume. Now, one thing I will give credit here. Okay, one thing I will give credit to the 13th Doctor's costume is it's a bit more non-gendered, unlike Missy's, which I think was good. But there's a couple problems. One, the only references to any other Doctors is towards Maddie Smith and David Tennant. And even then, there's a problem with the clothing itself. You see, the thing is, if you look at the clothing, it's all very silky and or, you know, very close to the body, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but it's very feminine. And that's the thing. The Doctor is masculine. Even if the Doctor's a woman, you know, even if the Doctor's Jodie Whittaker and she's a woman, fine. She'd still be very masculine. It's the first time she's been a woman after 12 regenerations. You just expect her to go all girly girl all of a sudden? I'm not saying you can't make her feminine. I'm just saying it would take time, over years even, at least a couple, not just like that. And that's the thing. Like, although the costume does have a masculine side, it's still in very feminine, very silky manner, and it doesn't have what a lot of guys' clothing has, which is generally a little bit thicker, a little more tight-knit kind of clothing in the cloth. You know, it'll be something more like jeans or something like that. And this leads to the sort of costume that I think the Master would have, which is something like this. Now, this is actually, hold on, let me try and get this right, because this is a little hard here. Oh, man. Shaky. Oh, man. You can't see that, can you? Ah, that sucks. Oh, that is trippy, though. Shame you can't see that. Let me see. Ah, there we are. There we are. Sorry about that. Trying to figure this out. Okay. Let me get this straight here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that. I know, there's a lot of talking here, and I apologize. I'm working it out. Okay. There we go. I'm trying to make this non-shaky, and I do deeply apologize. Okay. I think you can see that better. Yeah. Okay. Now, the funny thing is, this was just an ordinary clothing this lady wore here. Great channel, by the way, Holly Dunn Designs. If you look closely at the clothing, if the Doctor is going to be a woman, this is kind of more of the clothing she'd wear. You know, it kind of works because you have a nod to both the classic series and the new series. You got a sort of almost brownish suit, kind of something like Matt Smith will wear, but you have that center, kind of like, I don't know what you call it, but like that thing John Pertwee had in the middle of his shirt things, frivels, I guess, or something like that. But a feminine one with a little bow on it, which is the only feminine thing in the clothing. And you have a little pen on the side, if you can see it. And the pen would be like very similar to like something Colin Baker's Doctor would have wore. I mean, all you need on top of that would be like a matching pair of like suit pants, and voila. This is a perfect Doctor Who kind of costume, nod to a bunch of classic Doctors mixed in a new way. And both old doctors as well as new. And that's the sort of thing I think the costume needed. Something to reassure the fan base that even if she's a woman now, which is fine, she's still the Doctor. And the clothing she has is just too feminine, even though they're meant in a masculine fashion. Again, this is more because of the silky patterns of the clothing and the non-texturedness of it. Whereas a lot of guys' clothing are a bit more textured, especially with like suit pants and that. I mean, you can see the comparison just by the jackets between like Tennant's brown coat to Jodie's thinner trench coat thing. And yeah, if the Doctor, you know, was to wear a costume be like that, she wouldn't hide her femininity if the Doctor was a woman, but it wouldn't be all over the place. Not at first, anyways. Like I said, over time, if you wanted to make it more feminine, fine. But at first, I do think it would have been like a nice little spot center like this with, yeah, like that, where it's like a little bit of femininity, but still neat little nod to the Doctor and that. Like I said, the funny thing is, I don't think she intended to, sorry about this. I don't think she ever intended to make her clothing look like something the Doctor would wear, but it does look like something the Doctor would wear. Yeah. Anyways. Whew. Okay. Okay. And like I said, it's not the idea of the Doctor or the Master being woman that's an issue. It's just character. The Master would be a villain. She wouldn't just suddenly turn to a goody two-shoes person because she's a woman now. Doesn't make sense. The Master's a villain. You don't like that, then why even have her be a woman then? It's, anyway. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And like I said, all the best wishes to Jodie. I really do hope this next season is good. I'm hoping and hoping and hoping and hoping it's good. And I want it to be good. So yeah, that's it. I'm done.